Hello, good morning. How are you? In this video, we are going to talk about non-finite clauses. Yes, let me share a PowerPoint presentation with you. Let's see if everyone can see this as soon as I present it. It's important that you sit down, that you bring your notes with you, your booklet, because in the booklet you have all the theory that I'm explaining in the videos. Yes, maybe it's a good idea to reinforce by reading. Yes, so we're going to talk about non-finite to infinitive clause. Yes, non-finite because the verbs in two infinitive clauses, yes, do not show tense or number. Yes, that's why we call it to infinitive, because the verb that comes after to, yes, carries no tense, nor it has neither tense nor a person. Yes, you cannot say she talked for example, not she talked, but you cannot say use the word to and a verb that has either an s or the ed form for the past. That's not grammatically correct. You have to use the infinitive, the base form, and that's why we call them non-finite. Remember that the main difference between finite and non-finite verbs is that non-finite verbs do not show tense or person, okay? And the way in which we summarize this only with letters is, let me mark it here, is with these letters that you see here, okay? This means non-finite. This S stands for clause, yes, with this small line tilted on top of it. Non-finite clause, this is what this means. And we add to infinitive because there are many kinds of non-finite clauses, but in this case today we're going to talk about non-finite clauses, the to infinitive one. Okay? Okay, let us go on. All of these sentences are non-finite to infinitive clauses. Yes? Notice, let us look at the structure of these sentences. You will find a subject and a predicate. I is the subject, want to call you is the predicate, yes? And what we are going to do and what is important for you to do when analyzing these sentences is finding the non-finite to infinitive clause. How do I find it? Well, it comes after the word to, yes? And this will be important because you are going to analyze the sentence as a whole, but then you are going to analyze this clause inside, and each word will have a different function, okay? But first, I want to show you how to split them. Here, the same. She is old enough to make her own decisions. So she is the subject, is old enough to make her own decisions, is the predicate. And where is the non-finite to infinitive clause? Have you seen it? Yes, it's very easy to find because you only need to spot the word to. Yes, so this would be the non-finite to infinitive clause. Here, the children need a garden to play in. So the children, oops, sorry, it's the predicate, need a garden to play in. Sorry, the children is the subject, need a garden to play in is the predicate. Yes, always the predicate is where we see the verb, okay? And where does the non-finite clause begins? Here. Where does it begin? Here, to play in. I hope you are getting it. Yes, it's not that hard to identify it. I is the subject, would like a sandwich, to eat is the predicate, to eat is the non-finite to infinitive clause. Yes, here the teachers is the subject, expect the party to be great is the predicate, and to be great is the non-finite non-finite clause to infinitive. Notice that all the verbs, yes, all the verbs, let me change the color. Look at all the verbs. They are in their base form, yes, in the infinitive form. They are not changed in order to fit a tense. Yes, well, here this is an adjective, but here to be, here is the verb. We would never say to is. Yes, the verb is a finite verb because it shows tense and it shows present simple and it shows agreement with the subject. If I say is, it is either he, she, or it. It cannot be other. But in this case, yes, non-finite verbs do not show any tense. Yes, sorry, that's a T. Yes, and do not show any agreement with the person. Yes, with the person from the subject. Okay, because they are in their infinitive form. Okay, so ready to analyze one of these sentences? Let's see how it goes. In this case, yes, there we go. The teachers expect the party to be great. So let us start from the very beginning. What is the subject of this sentence? The teachers. Yes, the teachers here is a noun phrase, and we are going to start marking it on top of it. Yes, next to the subject. Why we are doing this? We used to do it at the bottom because it was easier for you to identify the parts of the sentence. Yes, in that way. But now that the concept of the noun phrase should be very clear in your minds, we're going to place it here next to the subject. Yes, because we already know that all of these, the whole subject, yes, fulfills this category, a noun phrase. And then inside the noun phrase, we're going to mark the article, the determiner, the noun, and the head. Yes, and here I added this spec, which means specifier. According to new studies, yes, the noun phrase, aside from having the article and the determiner and a pre-modifier and a post-modifier if it were needed, yes, when we find an article at the beginning, it's what we call a specifier as well. Yes, so as from now, yes, when you see an article, for example, before the head of the noun phrase, we will also add specifier. Yes, all noun phrases have a specifier. Yes, it's something that has been added lately. Yes, because you know that syntax, people keep studying and new terms are being discovered. Next year, you are going to explore this concept in depth, but I'm introducing it to you so that next year, when you see it, you more or less know what it is about, okay? Let us go to analyze the predicate. The predicate is also a verb phrase, yes? So I will write it here, verb phrase, because the whole predicate is a verb phrase. Yes, expect the party to be great. We call it a verb phrase because we may have a main verb or we may have an auxiliary verb, but we have a combination of verbs in this case. Yes, so expect is the main verb of the sentence. We can also call it the main verb and the head. Yes, because in every noun phrase, in every verb phrase, noun phrase, whatever, we need a head. And in this case, the head of this predicate, yes, in the whole sentence is expect, okay? And it is a transitive verb. Why? Because we need an object. So we expect what? Something. Yes, so it is a transitive verb. In this case, it's of incomplete predication because then we have an object complement. We will see how it goes that later. But first, let us go to the party because the teachers expect what? The party. So the party is what we call the direct object. Notice that again, I'm marking but with different color that this is a noun phrase, that the direct object, the function of the direct object has the category of a noun phrase, okay? Notice and mark this way of analyzing the sentences because this is how you will analyze them next year. But I would like you to use this form in your exam, okay? Because this is how it goes. Yes, this is how it should be done. The thing is that until a few classes ago, I just wanted to make sure that the concepts were clear to you, that you knew where the noun phrase or the verb phrase was, but now that we already know those concepts, we are going to mark them in this way, okay? It's also more efficient, yes, when we are analyzing the sentence so that we don't have to add so many categories, yes, and it feels less, it occupies less room. So the direct object, yes, is a noun phrase. Again, we analyze it in a similar way as the teachers. The is the article and the determiner and the specifier. And party is a noun and a head, the head of the sentence. Yes, remember that the head is the word that we cannot elide from the sentence, from the clause or the noun phrase in this case. So we have analyzed the first clause. The teachers expect the party. Expect the party? What? There is something else that we need to add. So the predicate is not complete. So to be great, it's an object complement. Yes, because it influences the idea, the identity of the direct object. Yes, it complements the idea of the party. They expect the party to be great. It's describing the party. Yes, so all of to be great is an object complement. Yes, and also this is the non-finite clause to infinitive, as I have showed you in the very first slide. Yes, remember that we analyzed the parts of the sentence. So the teachers is the subject. Expect the party to be great is the predicate. And to be great is the non-finite clause to infinitive. Okay? So now that we have the clause to be great, we are going to analyze it inside. Yes, it's as if this were an island. Imagine that the sentence is a country that has two provinces. So we have to see the population of one province and then the population of a different province. So we have already seen the population of the first clause. The teachers expect the party. Now we're going to see what's inside the second clause, the second province, to be great. Yes. To, we are always going to mark it, the word to, we are always going to mark it in this way. This means no tense. Yes, the minus and the T means no tense, and the minus and the A means no agreement. Okay, no agreement. Agreement has to do with the fact that the verb may take or not a slight change depending on what the subject is. That's what we call subject agreement. Sometimes when I correct your writings, I tell you there is no subject agreement because maybe you say Susan and Peter was playing in the playground. They were playing in in the playground. Yes, so when the verb and the subject agree, That's called a subject agreement. Yes. So here we have no tense and no agreement because the verb be is in the infinitive form. It's a non-finite verb. Okay. And as always, the verb to be, yes, is an intransitive verb, as it usually happens, of incomplete predication. Yes. It functions like in a way like a linking verb. Yes. To be great. Great is an adjective in this case. Yes. So this is an adjectival phrase. Yes. But to be great, great is a subject complement. And this is an adjectival phrase. Yes. The subject complement is an adjectival phrase. Okay. So this is the analysis of the first sentence. Now we will write next to these sentences these initials, SDS. What does it mean? Look, you have it here. Simple declarative sentence. Sorry, sentence. Yes, simple declarative sentence. Okay. Okay. Let us go to the following example. She is old enough to make her own decisions. Let us identify the parts of the sentence. She is the subject, is old enough to make her own decisions is the predicate. Okay? Let us identify the non-finite to infinitive clause. Again, it begins with to. To make her own decisions is the non-finite relative clause. Sorry, the non-finite to infinitive clause. Okay? So she is the noun phrase. Remember that we say that noun phrases, even a small word, has the potential to become a phrase. So we call it a noun phrase. Yes, the subject is a noun phrase, she is a pronoun, and the head. Inside the predicate, we have a verb phrase. Okay, let us analyze the first clause. Yes, she is, the verb to be is a linking verb and an intransitive verb of incomplete predication. Yes. Old enough is the subject complement or the subjective complement, whichever way you call it. Okay. Old enough, yes, is complementing the idea of she, the identity of the subject. And old enough is an adjectival phrase. Yes, notice that I wrote it here. Adjectival phrase. Old, yes, is the adjective and the head of the adjectival phrase. And enough, yes, here works as an adverb. And it is an adjectival complement. Remember that in noun phrases, adjectival phrases, prepositional phrases, you will find several elements, yes, like at the beginning you may find the article, the determiner, the specifier that is followed by a head. But after the head, we have what is called a complementizer of the whichever phrase. In this case, enough, it's an adjectival complementizer because it complements the adjective. She is old enough. Yes. So usually, yes, for noun, for any kind of phrases, yes, remember this concept that you may have the first element, which can be a determiner, a specifier, how the way we call it today, and after that you find the head, and after that, when we have one more adjective, or after the preposition, we have sometimes a noun phrase, yes, and that functions as a complementizer. Yes, if it is an adjectival phrase, it will be called an adjectival complementizer. If it is a prepositional phrase, we will call it prepositional complementizer. Complementizer or complement, it's the same. prepositional complement, adjectival complement. It's something that complements the idea, complements the idea of the head of the phrase, okay? So let us go back. She is the pronoun, the head, the noun phrase, is the linking verb, and an intransitive verb of incomplete predication. If it is an intransitive verb of incomplete predication, we need a subject complement. Yes, and the subject complement is old enough. Old enough is an adjectival phrase made up of a head and a complement. Okay? Now, let us go to the second province of this sentence, which is to make her own decisions. Yes? Two, we mark it with no tense, no agreement. Yes, as we did before. Make is the main verb and the head of the sentence, of the verb phrase, sorry. And it is a transitive verb because to make what? We need an object. So that makes it a transitive verb of complete predication, because notice that after the direct object, there is nothing else. So to make, she's old enough to make what? Her own decisions. So her own decisions is a direct object, okay? And her own decisions is a noun phrase, okay? This is a noun phrase. Her, it's a possessive pronoun, a determiner, and a specifier, yes? Own is also a possessive pronoun, pre-modifier, and decisions is the head and the noun of the sentence. Give me a second. I'm sorry for the interruption. Something happened. Let us recap a little bit. Here we are. Okay, so let us analyze again. Her own decisions. Yes, I have also checked this in the few minutes that I left. Her is the possessive pronoun, the determiner and the specifier, but own in this case is an adjective, not a personal pronoun, a possessive pronoun. Then you can change it, okay? When I upload the PowerPoint presentation, I will change it, because own decisions, yes, it's describing the decisions, and it's a pre-modifier, yes? So here, this is an adjective, okay? Her own decisions. Decisions is the noun and the head of the noun phrase, okay? All of this, sorry, and I forgot here because this is very important. This is to make her own decisions. All of it, we need to give a name to that, a function, yes? And we are going to call this an adverbial adjunct of purpose, okay? In the sentences that I will give you, most likely you will not find adverbial adjuncts because we haven't seen them in depth, yes? But notice that this has to do with finding a function for the non-finite clause. Yes, in this case, this is the function. I'm trying to show you a variety of sentences so that you know what may happen in different contexts. Yes, for example, in the sentence before, I showed you a sentence with the direct object and an object complement. In this case, I'm showing you one with subject complement and direct object so that you more or less see the way they can be analyzed. But I will try to avoid putting sentences with adverbial adjuncts in the test. Yes, and this is a simple declarative sentence. Okay, he reminded me to buy milk. This is another sentence, another example that we're going to analyze. He is the subject. Reminded me to buy milk is the predicate. And where is the clause, the non-finite to infinitive clause? Here. It begins with to buy milk. So let us go to the beginning. Let us analyze the first province in this country. He is, sorry, I forgot to write it, the noun phrase. It's a personal pronoun and the head. This is also a verb phrase. I forgot to include it. Reminded is the main verb and the head of the sentence, and it is a transitive verb because he reminded me what? Yes, of something. So we need a direct object of complete predication. Yes. What did he reminded me? To buy milk. So to buy milk is the direct object of the sentence. To whom did he remind to buy the milk? To me. Yes. So that is the indirect object. Yes. The indirect object is me. Me, it's an object pronoun. Now let us go to the second province of this sentence. To buy milk. To, no tense, no agreement. Buy is the main verb, the head of the clause. Yes. And it is a transitive verb of complete predication. To buy what? Milk. Yes. So milk is a direct object. Yes, we can have a direct object inside a direct object because this is the direct object of the complete sentence. But milk is the direct object inside the clause. That's why it's important that you understand that when you are analyzing a clause, you are analyzing what happens inside of it. It's as if you were using a camera and you were doing zoom on only one part of the sentence in which every word has a different category and a function, independently of what happens outside of that clause. Okay? So now you are going to practice. Yes, I would like to eat a sandwich. They wanted to pay for their meals. They allowed the students to leave earlier. The school asked me to give them a tour. She forced the defendant to admit the truth. Yes, so practice these sentences and we will correct them together as soon as possible. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, so make sure you practice these sentences. I will upload the corrections, the corrected sentences very shortly. Okay. Okay, this is the end of this video presentation. Remember to leave your questions if you have any doubts.